Financial wellness. Reach out to them for advice at 855-DON-GINO. And now back to your hosts, Don Getling and Gino Franti.
Good information. Why don't you join us here at the Vault Media Studio right here at Skyline Home Loans. And we have 3 HD cameras on us by going to donandgino.com, DONANDGINO.com. You click on the live stream button, and boom, you will see Don Getling, Gino Franti, and our awesome guest, Mr. Robert Gouillet. Well, actually, Robert Geyer. Bob Geyer to us as a friend, and he's here to help us, go through the myths of home inspections and stuff, and the details and stuff. Bob, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for inviting me.
I just like hearing his voice. Very, very soothing. Can you read me a bedtime story?
Let's hear some more of it. Bob, tell us, I know Don and I have been ranting about what we see in the economy, what we see in housing. Tell us a little bit about how you see it from the ground as well.
Multiple offers.
No
I'm
doubt,
seeing something that we noticed some years ago, and it's back. And I'm seeing a lot of properties where they've got multiple offers going in, and they're wanting to get on the inspection calendar as soon as possible because they have that due diligence period that they have to comply with, and they don't want to waste any time. So
they're keeping you on your toes?
yeah. Instead of a 10 to 14 day due diligence, most of them are in the 5 to 7 day.
Wow,
so
that's aggressive.
It's very aggressive out there. People are using that as part of their offer to make them look a little stronger.
Well, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule. I know we had to book this like 3 weeks ahead of time because your schedule was already booked out for almost 3 weeks.
Yeah, precisely.
All right, very cool.
So, Bob, tell us a little bit about yourself, a little bit about your background. I've known you for 10 years, so try to put this all together in 2 minutes so they can know you for 10 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. My background is construction. I was a general contractor, framing contractor for almost 20 years. I've been doing home inspections since '96 full-time.
Oh, wow.
And so I'm a full-timer. I teach building inspection and code at college level as well.
Oh, wow.
And I'm really active with the inspectors associations. I'm a regional director and educational director. So
I like that you have so much additional experience. Other than I'm going to be a home inspector and therefore I'm going to go study in the books, you've actually been a contractor, so you've seen it, worked it, been there like Gino and I. We both have construction backgrounds. It helps a lot in our line of work. Plus, you teach it. I mean, that's impressive.
It seems like a lot of inspectors that want to get into the field, maybe they are retiring themselves from something else that was physically exhausting to their bodies, you might say, or they were in an accident or something like that. Then they find out what's actually involved if you're going to be a serious inspector and how much education is actually involved. So it's not an overnight proposition, you might say.
Well, give us a little detail on that because it'll make a lot of you out there appreciate the knowledge that goes behind inspecting your home. It's not just somebody going out going, well, this door jams off. Or, there's a lot behind it. Go into the education and licensing that's involved with home inspection.
In the state of California, California is one of those states that doesn't have licensing for a home inspector, but what the state of California opted for was business and professions code ordinances that actually controls and the home inspection industry from the standpoint of they've adopted the standards of practice of the primary home inspection organizations, the California Real Estate Inspection Association and the American Society of Home Inspectors. So they've adopted those, put those standards into the Business and Professions Code, and made it a state law. And part of that, to be members of those organizations, you have to have continuing education every year.
Yeah, like our industry.
Mm-hmm, very much so. To become a real estate agent or a mortgage broker, you've got exams that you have to pass. The CREIA and the ASHI organizations, you have to pass the National Home Inspectors exam, which is a 4-hour exam that has actually been developed over the course of years with the Code Council involved, the people that write the building codes. So it's got a kind of a conservative pass ratio. You've got to really know your stuff to pass those.
So you can't just, go from swinging a hammer to all of a sudden inspecting homes. You actually got to put some real effort into it.
There's some organizations that don't require that, but those two organizations do require it.
So, okay, so conceivably, I could be a general contractor and start doing home inspections without being ASHI or CREIA certified in the state of California?
Precisely, and if you think about it, to become a general contractor, which I was years ago, you study for the exam one time, and you're now a contractor. You do not have to have continuing education to keep that membership or that licensing active. So it's quite a bit of a difference, whereas you have to have 30 hours a year to maintain a home inspector's certification with CREIA or ASHI.
So
I think that's good.
number one lesson, right? Make sure that someone that you hire is ASHI or CREIA certified, and
Correct.
ideally both.
That would be even better.
I'm
yes.
looking at your card. It looks like you got all kinds of, validations.
Badges of honor.
No doubt.
Otherwise known as experience.
And the thing too is that, like, there's the Code Council, and to become a certified Code Council inspector, you're getting more into the code, which is really the backdrop, the backbone of everything that goes into construction. So it's better if you have a more of an understanding of what is the premise, what's the basis of how things are to go together. So it's not something to be afraid of, it's something to be embraced.
And if you just tuned in, you're here on the Don and Gino Real Estate and Finance Show. We're here with Bob Geyer with Geyer Inspections, LLC, and we're giving you some insight into the whole home inspection philosophy and status and direction and what they do. And Bob's just going through all that goes behind a true inspector that's willing to put the time, effort, and education to becoming a great inspector, not just somebody who's going to show up your home and take measurements and pictures. You actually really know what you're looking for. Am I right?
You just brought up something, taking measurements and pictures. One of the other things as far as operating as a home inspector under the state is you can't do work on a property, whereas if you hire a contractor, they can work on the property. So that's a situation of being able to butter your own bread, you might say.
Right. So, yeah, one of the things that I know is important, and I have quite a few questions. I'm just going to actually accumulate some of these questions for the next round here, because I know that Don gets upset at me whenever I ask a very involved question with 22 seconds left on the clock.
Yeah, thank you, Gino.
So, but Bob, I mean, that's a big deal, right? You want to make sure that you work with someone that doesn't have an interest in finding things that maybe are not that important or don't need to be taken care of right away, just in the interest of trying to creating work.
Precisely. They're writing their own meal ticket.
All right, so we only have a couple seconds left of this segment, so hopefully you don't go away, because we just kind of gave you a background of what it takes to become a true home inspector, a certified, educated home inspector. Now we're going to go into some of the things that you should know about home inspections. What should they be looking for you? On the buyer and seller side, it's a dichotomy. You both want different things. Trust me on this. And Bob's going to give us some insight on that and how it aligns with what's going on in our real estate economy today right here in Santa Cruz Valley. So don't go away. We have Bob Geyer, Don Gatling, Gino Franti right here on the Don and Gino Real Estate and Finance Show in your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS.